Hey guys, I hope to do this in a one take so that I actually get it up. I feel like I always do that at the beginning of a video. I don't know what I'm going to title this video yet. You guys obviously know by now, but I think it's an important topic to talk about, and something just to have on your mind as you're developing and kind of really starting your business. So basically, how to make your business survive the scary, whether that's a global pandemic, whether that's something happens to you or your family and you're not able to work as much, whatever it may be. How to survive the unknown and how to make a business that's super self-sustaining. So one of the obvious answers is to buy and pay cash for everything. That way you owe no one anything. You don't have all your money coming in needing to go out. And no matter the amount of money that comes in, you still have to put that money out. It's like whether you make $5,000 or $10,000, every month you have $5,000 in bills you have to pay and in debt you have to pay off. So making sure that, the least amount of money going out is best, because your greatest wealth building tool is your income, and you want to keep that money that's coming in. You want to keep it and be able to choose, how can I spend this and use it to build wealth and to further my business and whatnot. You don't want to just have all your money coming in going to past decisions. And there's obviously areas where debt can kind of maybe make sense. The only one we agree with is a mortgage of some kind, because that's something that is constantly going up in value for the most part, and is harder to pay all cash for. So that's my number one tip, is to avoid debt, essentially, because your money coming in, you don't want it just to go right out. And if the money that's coming in dramatically goes down or has to stop, you're okay, because you don't have to put it back out. You don't have monthly expenses, fixed expenses that are needing to be, addressed. Now, things like payroll, your produce costs, those are not fixed expenses. Those are dependent on the amount of business that you are bringing in. So those are okay, obviously, like if nobody's coming in and buying juice, you're not buying produce. And if nobody's coming in and buying juice, you're not paying employees because there's not work for them to do. So just keep an eye on your fixed expenses and keep them very, very low. So next I want to talk about bottles. If you're just small and starting up, buy 500 glass bottles and make sure you get each of those bottles back. And you can, if you're small, you can really talk to your customer and say, hey, I really need those bottles back. If you bring them back, I give you a credit. It really helps our business so much and cuts down on some expenses. We really appreciate it if you bring the bottle back. And you can go to the extent, if you're really small, you can drop it off here, I can pick it up at your house, we can do a quick switcheroo if you are doing delivery orders or whatever it may be. It's really easy to control, obviously, on the smaller scale and smaller end that you are of a business. If you're a pretty big juice shop, you're going to serve a lot of customers that are never going to come back again. You just have a wider range of customers. So, plastic can start to make more sense in that area, but also, I don't know, we've never gotten to that point of massiveness where does it make more sense to do plastic? It still makes more sense for us to do glass right now. But especially if you're small and you're just starting out and you're really trying to figure out, how do I save the most money and make sure that I don't go upside down just like everything fails, is to do glass, and just make sure you get each one of those glass bottles back. So that's a good way. A good way with glass bottles is to think, how can I become a self-sustainable business that really doesn't need to keep buying a lot of goods, can just kind of do a constant rotation and circle in-house. And that a good way to do that is glass. They're reusable, so you don't have to keep buying plastic. I would really consider, the biggest thing I would take into consideration is, are you serving mostly repeat customers, or are you somewhere where foot traffic is crazy? You're in a tourist area where most of the customers coming in you aren't seeing again, and you have your regulars, but still most you aren't seeing again. Or you could also do a mixture where the customers that you know you're going to serve every week, you give them glass. People that are placing custom orders or, you know, placing orders ahead of time, like they get glass. That could almost be an incentive. Like, hey, if you know you're coming back every week, place your order ahead of time. We give you glass. You return the glass when we do a constant rotation continually. That could be a really good way to cut down on your plastic bottle usage and purchases and keep that glass rotation in-house. Because, you know, you put a glass bottle out and you should be thinking like every time, like, man, I really hope I get that back. So make sure you tell your customer, you know, we take the glass bottles back, you get a credit, this, that. And if you're doing a mixture, like I just said, a really good way to make sure you get them back is to just give them to the repeat regular customers that are placing their orders ahead of time. That just came to me. I'm just saying, that just came to me, like, kind of use it as an incentive. If you want glass, place your order ahead of time. I like that. Along the lines of bottles, also our labels, I was gonna say lids, but not our lids. Our labels stay on our glass bottles during the whole, you know, process, cleaning, dishwasher process. So we get to reuse all of those too. So keeping that in mind is really important. Lately we've been using a lot of plastic, and you know, each bottle that has a plastic label on it, we lose the bottle and we lose the label. And labels can add up. You know, they're definitely not like hugely expensive, but they're a couple hundred, maybe even $1,000 here and there. With the juice business, you know, your produce, you can't really control that. One thing to keep in mind though is what's in season and what's on sale. With your produce suppliers, a good thing to ask your produce suppliers is like, hey, let me know when anything's on sale, or you have a bunch of anything and it's priced really well. Because with the juice industry, you can make a juice from anything. Like any produce you can make a juice from, and usually it can taste pretty good. You can make it taste good, and if it doesn't taste great, usually it's because it's some weird vegetable that has a bunch of health benefits, and so you can sell it for that reason. So definitely keep in mind, produce wise, what's really affordable and what's in season, and there's an abundance of it. So one example is watermelon season here in Ohio is crazy at the end of summer, and our supplier, we have a local supplier who is able to get us watermelons so cheap, and so many of them, and we're able to make so many watermelon juice specials at a really affordable price, and they're so profitable because the watermelons are so cheap, and it's just a good all-around thing. Like, it's awesome. So keeping that in mind, like, where do I live, what's in season, what's available, and have that, you know, constant communication with your suppliers. What's a good deal? What can I take off of your hands? You know, they want to get rid of it too. It's just sitting in their stock room. And they're every day they're just like, oh, this keeps getting more and more spoiled. Like, who can we give it to? Who will take it? So have a good relationship with your produce suppliers, for sure. I think that's all the points I want to make in this video. I just wanted to add in a few. I just wanted to share a few of these little things, and they're important because things are kind of weird right now. And you want to do everything you can do to make sure your business survives the really hard times. So yeah, I hope this video is helpful. I know it's just a little, like a few random tips, but if you have any tips and have a juice business, I'll leave them below. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!